Global competitiveness today, given the realities of intense and constant innovation, social networking, and individualized demands of customers, requires all the best of management, personnel, and marketing around the world. It also requires the latest technologies and the leading knowledge in your industry or area of business and service. These elements are embodied by the systematic, action-oriented ETK model proposed by Dr. Miguel A. Cardenas, where the emotional or human, technology, and knowledge dimensions are used as a strategic formula for achievement and success given our complex and dynamic new world reality. In the middle of the E and K is the T of technology. Global competitiveness depends on telecommunication and the use of the Internet. We are in the midst of a revolution, considering the easy access to innovative and state-of-the-art telecommunication systems and the complementary Internet. Everything is faster, has broader reach, increased access by all. Markets are no longer local or regional. They are worldwide, and companies and executives have to deal with the differences in time, distance, culture, society, and regulatory pressures. The Internet brings people together and enables people to reach out and share their ideas and thoughts. Companies still, though, need to figure out how best to reach prospects and convert them to customers, or reach out to customers to keep them buying. What's going on in global business and competition today, different from the past? Who are the different players? What does it take for success in business? There's no one answer to these questions, but there are tactics, capabilities, and strategies that individuals and companies need to have and implement. It used to be that competition and competitors came from the city, district, or state you and your company were working out of. Today, with networked industries, economies, and customers, competition is no longer regional. Rather, it's global, except that the customers typically don't know it, since the issue of time and distance are not really relevant anymore. Let's take a look at a reality that both companies and customers have to consider as they operate to maximize their value in the competitive global world. The reality that companies and customers have to work in is that customers are operating with limited resources: money, time, facilities, equipment, technology, and people, with an unlimited way to use or expend the resources. An example of limited resources and unlimited choices goes this way. Think about having $500 cash. That's your limited resource. Now, what do you do with the cash? There are unlimited possible uses. You could make your rent payment, buy clothing, invest in something, pick up a new iPhone, take a quick weekend trip. These are all part of your unlimited choices or ways to spend the money, all for $500. So you, as the customer, have to decide which choice to take advantage of. And the choices have to promote themselves to you effectively, so you will decide in their favor. In the end, only one company or provider gets the $500, and that's the winner. The products that were not bought become the losers. This concept of limited resources and unlimited choices is not just for consumers. It fully applies in the corporate business-to-business world. An example in this case might be a company having $10,000 that it's considering buying a new computer system, or training salespeople, or modernizing the office, or offering an incentive for sales. Again, only one choice can be chosen. So, limited choices and unlimited resources are ever present. One last point to remember here is that there are fewer resources available than choices. The dollar value of all the limited resources is less than the dollar value of the possible choices. Successful companies will get their premium share of revenues and win. There are three types of economic competition that most people consider: monopoly, oligarchy, and pure competition. Monopoly is where one company totally dominates the market and industry. Typically, there is just one company at play here. Here, there is very little choice between products or services offered. Prices won't change very much here. In the U.S., there is virtually no monopolistic industry. Oligarchy is where 3 to 7 companies dominate the marketplace with fairly similar products, and not much innovation comes from these companies. Typically, the 3 to 7 companies occupy at least 80% of the market. In the U.S. airline industry, the top 7 airlines hold approximately 86% of the market. In an oligarchy, the 3 to 7 companies are there to succeed. However, they are not high-volume changers. The real change comes from the companies that make up the other percentage of the market. So again, in the United States airlines, the real challenges come from the 14% that's generated by the small guys who are hoping to get bigger. Realistically, in the United States, all industries are oligarchic, according to Bloomberg Business and its survey of over 35 industries. Finally, pure competition is where there is easy entry into an industry. These tend to be entrepreneurial markets in nature, and no company has more than 5% market share. In pure competition, there are many choices between products, services, and supplying companies, all trying to get a piece of the market. This is the case of the global TV market. In reality, most of the world is oligarchic. There are very few monopolies. Where is the pure competition? Well, it is the leftover from the 3 to 7 dominant companies in an industry. It's the small companies in an industry that have less than 5% market share, usually less than 2 to 3%, that are seeking to get a bigger piece of the industry. Understanding these three types of competition is critical and very valuable for organizations today as they create their competitive strategies. In today's global marketplace, it's even more important to consider the customer-centered competition. It's the competition that is based around creating customers. As in economic competition, customer-centered competition has three types: primary, secondary, and tertiary. There's still a battle for limited resources by the unlimited choices in customer-centered competition. Let's look at these in detail. Primary competitors are the companies that customers typically think of, the main choices that are available in an industry or product type. For example, in the TV industry, global competitors such as Sony, Philips, Hitachi, Vizio are primary competitors. They each compete with their products against the other TV providers. Primary competition isn't based on size or company or revenues. Rather, it's just common products or services battling in their own way against each other on where their core competency is: product quality, pricing, distribution, and access, costs, location, and many other characteristics. Secondary competitors battle for customers, money, and resources that other industries and companies engage in. Recall, competition is the battle for limited resources by unlimited choices. Secondary competition comes from other companies or organizations that want the same resources that the primaries are seeking. So, if you are Vizio, your secondary competition comes from other companies in other industries such as Hilton Hotels, BMW, Tag Heuer, sports watches, and other recreational products providers. How does BMW compete with Tag Heuer? They both want their share of the customer's resources, money in this case, and so does Vizio. So Vizio competes for customers' money that may be allocated to TV purchases, and they also compete with BMW and Tag Heuer for all the same monetary resources. Tertiary competitors all have potential customers in mind. Some customers may not want a TV, may not want other industry products. They may just be deciding not to buy. That is, they will hold on to the money and not spend it. Not spending typically is not good for the economy, since it loses out on taxes, revenues, jobs, and overall increased lifestyle quality. So now look at customer-centered competition from the 10,000-meter level. Companies have to consider where their customers are in terms of spending or not, and how strong tertiary competitive options are. If they are weak, that's good, because the customer is in the mode to buy or spend. Then the organization has to target its customers in a way that they know what they need and want and will buy. It's up to the companies to adapt to the customer. Do things mostly for the customer based on results and feelings and emotions. If you are Vizio, you need to know other industry products that their potential customers might need, want, or may buy. Hopefully, TV is on that list. Then, Vizio has to make its TV so attractive, easy to buy, and use that the target customer won't buy a Tag Heuer watch or a BMW car, or take a trip and stay at a Hilton hotel. Instead, the customer bypasses the many options and goes right to buying a TV. And because Vizio meets or exceeds the customer's goals and desires, they buy Vizio. Success and added profit to the company. Organizations need to maximize their information resource and key market knowledge. Sometimes timeliness is critical. It's better to get information on an anticipatory basis. Get it before you need it, and have it when the decision to use it is required. Then, if you need more information, you're in a better position to get it. Customize your knowledge to that which is relevant to the 4 I's of information needed: industries, individuals, issues, and interests. So what do organizations and countries do to stay ahead and differentiate themselves? They need agility and responsiveness. According to a survey of U.S. companies and their CEOs, growth is the #1 priority. Do it through product creation, partnerships, and listening to prospects. I found it interesting that growth was #1 priority. However, to grow, other priorities need to be synchronized also, such as acquiring good talent, optimizing costs, expanding innovation, and managing government regulation. The process of an organization to achieve its vision, mission, and objectives is all based around marketing. Why marketing? Marketing is a source of revenue, monetary or social value, for any organization, including nonprofits and government agencies. Ultimately, if marketing doesn't do its sales or revenue generation, there's no need for other departments or activities. In this case, all the efforts of an organization are set up, get, serve, keep, GSK, customers at a profit repeatedly. Let's now talk about gaps. The gap is the difference between where the person or company is now, or perceives that what they have now compared with where they could be or would like to be, want to be, or will buy products and services to get to where they want to be. It's a matter of providing and ensuring that the customer can get the benefits that they are looking for and that you can deliver. Let's take a look at several examples of gaps. Being thirsty, not being thirsty. That's seeking decreased thirst. Being uncomfortable, being comfortable. That's seeking increased comfort. Being overweight, being desired weight. That's seeking decreased weight. What's the role of an entrepreneur or corporation? Their role is to create or eliminate gaps. As we consider the gaps, we should think constantly what the customer is buying. Its benefits. Benefits are the desired change they get from using the product or service. From the examples above, benefits are on the right of the gap. Marketers today and in the future need to be global, customer-centered. Marketing is all about change. changing the situation of the customer for the better. There are triggers that get people to buy. People want to make more money, save time, save money, and look better. There are other reasons people will buy. They want to learn something new. They want to live longer, be comfortable, and want to be loved, be popular, or gain pleasure. These are the motivations that get people to buy, to get them to give up their limited resources for benefits that will greatly improve their life and lifestyle. These triggers all are dependent on the customer's culture, societal pressures, and interests. Companies develop products and services that will do these things or some of them. Customers seek products and services that will do one or many of these for them. It's interesting. Not all customers buy a product or service for the same reasons. For example, some people buy a car to save money through better mileage and to live longer through safer cars. Others may buy the same car to gain pleasure and to be comfortable. Organizations and individuals are always looking to serve their cause, their employees, their customers, and prospects. Often the effort to serve these audiences comes in the form of thinking of new ideas for products and services with new product development in mind. One part of that strategy is to figure out what to do differently in the future and how to get more customers and more revenues. Technology enables marketers to sell based on less face-to-face sales or communication. Use the technology option that makes it easy to buy, use, decide, and to link to the customer to build relationships and likes with them. In the past, there wasn't much competition. Typically, there weren't as many options of buying, committing resources. There were never so many car companies, airlines, shoe manufacturers as there are today. The size of companies and the number of services provided all have changed. Perform repeated SWOT exercise of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats for products, organizations, or industries key to your organization. Look for changes and trends and respond to them or lead away from them. Strengths and weaknesses are internal to the company. Opportunities and threats are external to the company. Wherever possible, try to quantify and time the SWOT items. A good SWOT analysis should be done on an ongoing basis with all departments of an organization involved. There are many challenges to the critical issues of knowledge management, protection, and ethics in the new networked environment organizations operate today. When thinking of knowledge management, you have to assume someone has or gets the information and knows it in a way to have it available for later use. Companies have to identify information needed for what purpose, get it, put it into a worthy format of competitive intelligence, and deliver it to users in a proper format and timely manner, and get it from varied sources. I always tell my students or employees to be on the lookout for valuable information. Gather it on an ongoing basis. Do your market research by asking questions, watching behavior, reading voraciously, and listening. Intellectual property is a critical issue with your technology and other capabilities. There's an ongoing battle between knowing whether to patent your idea or product and go through the cost and time to do that, or just jump into the market with the best effort. Spend the money you would spend on a patent on a prototype and production and marketing. Now, this tactic has to be adapted carefully, since others may jump in with legal protection, and that may cut you out of the market. Automation is making inroads in every industry nowadays, but if you're nimble and agile, you can avoid being replaced by a machine. Watch any old sci-fi movie, and the future is invariably depicted as a place full of helpful, hard-working robots, busying themselves with household chores while the humans sit around mixing cocktails and schmoozing. Funny, that world never seemed to materialize. If anything, we all seem to be working harder than ever, tightly bound to our smartphones. but tomorrow may finally be upon us. Major advances in artificial intelligence are arriving so rapidly that robots may soon be a part of everyday life. Google is working hard on its driverless car. Samsung has launched a robotic vacuum. Other robots and machines are learning how to perform simple surgical operations, process basic legal documents, teach people how to speak a foreign language, and even write a news article. Just look around. Many of our robots are also today's apps. Apps do thousands of things that people used to do. These increase individual effectiveness and productivity, increase speed, consistency, and cut time, and many other things. According to Ilya Reza Norbash, a professor of robotics at Carnegie Mellon University, and his new book called Robots Futures, he imagines a day when machines perform whole categories of traditional human jobs. How fast all of this will happen remains to be seen. Technologies do not always advance as quickly as their more enthusiastic proponents expect. It is clear that the rapid loss of manufacturing jobs in all developed economies isn't just coming from competition of cheaper workers in China. Robots simply have taken over many factory tasks. They're more reliable. They don't ask for pay raises and don't second-guess the boss. However, they lack the E of ETK. That is, the highly human skills of creativity, innovation, and emotional intelligence. However, we should all learn to leverage their strengths so that our organizations can use their incredible capacity for production and functional tasks. In conclusion, global competitiveness that leads to world-class performance can only be achieved in the new globalized environment today through a balanced E, T, and K strategy of growth and service aligned to our organizational vision and aspirations as leaders, workers, suppliers, and clients, for it is our value chains that make us all more productive and responsible to the communities we serve. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation, and now let's begin Module 2 of this program.